that intended on making this, and they didn't for whatever reason, you'll be able to share that. Stephanie will be sending out the slides that we're going to show here. My name is Dennis Smeltzer. I'm president of TSANet. We're going to kind of give you a high level of the organization, and then a lot of times what happens is we'll hear from people going, yeah, I've heard of it, but I really don't know what it is, and I don't know how to use it. So we're just going to give you the high level of what the organization is, how you would collaborate. We'll give you a very tactical view of how it's used. We're not going to go into a lot of detail about certain things, and so what I want to do is open this up, that if you would like a one-on-one, or maybe you're looking to introduce TSANet into your support organization and get a little bit more mileage out of your membership, that we'd be more than happy to do one-off type of stuff with you and co-brand some things. My colleague Paul Esch, that works with me in the business development side, is real good about doing that with us, and we'll put something together for you. So you can get a hold of myself. It's dennis@tsanet.org, or you can get a hold of membership@tsanet.org, and we'll go ahead and set something up for you individually if you'd like to do that. But let me give you, so this is kind of a high level of TSANet. I'm going to go into a little bit of the topics, and I know it looks like a lot, but it really isn't that much. And I really want to kind of key in on a couple of things here. One of them is down on the bottom of the screen. You'll see this legal framework, and then you also see case exchange. We've had a lot of interest in case exchange, a lot more companies beginning to implement this. This is basically the concept, and what it is the ability for you to be able to electronically exchange tickets with other member companies. And we've even got connectors for Salesforce and NetSuite and Microsoft Dynamics that allows you to actually stay within your CRM systems and electronically receive and transmit tickets. I'm not going to get into that. It actually is a separate conversation, and there is some stuff on the website right now where you can go in and see some webinars that we've done on that. And again, I'll go back to, if you want something individual to get into case exchange and see what it is, it's included in your membership. There's no additional fees or anything like that. But it really deserves a separate conversation. So I won't get into that, but that is something that is available to our members, and it really is gaining a lot of traction. Also, the custom groups is another area, and we'll talk about that a little bit. This is kind of the high-level view of TSANet. If you've really not familiar with it, we are a not-for-profit organization. Next year will be our 25th year anniversary. So we got started back in 1993, and have obviously been around for quite some time, which says a lot, because there's a lot of organizations that don't last that long. But we were formed by the industry, and we support the industry. This is your organization. This is not a typical vendor situation coming in trying to sell you services. We are a very member-driven organization, and we have strategy meetings as well as focus groups around the world where we try to seek input on what you would like us to do, because this is your organization. We operate under a set of bylaws as opposed to a corporate charter. I work for an elected board of directors, and those elections take place every year. We have a small global staff. We're up to several hundred members, just about pushing 500 member companies now. And the bottom two bullets down here is really what we're all about. I'm going to show you this operational framework. How do you engage and work with another member company? I'll show you how that works. The other thing that we did was we got all these big companies, lawyers, to agree to a common set of verbiage. So how are you going to handle confidential information? How are you going to handle intellectual property? Things like that go into what we call a code of conduct. And that code of conduct is what we call a base level document. Every member company signs the same document. That doesn't mean you can't have different relationships, because we actually create then what we call addendums to the code of conduct that allow you to go in and set up different elements and even different membership criteria for a specific relationship that you want to do. That's covered in the next couple of slides here. But the bottom line is, what we've done, instead of you going out and having to try to create a separate cooperative support agreement or do something one-off with all these different companies, you can use TSANet as a structure to do the same thing. and it accomplishes the same thing, although it's a lot quicker because everybody's operating off this same vendor-neutral common framework. So it makes sense for you to establish relationships through TSANet. You're accomplishing the same thing as going in and doing a separate CSA. You're just doing it through the TSANet structure, and we can do it a lot quicker. And then we'll use the operational framework to implement it, which makes it also very easy. The next two slides basically goes into the membership levels. I wanted to cover this so you get a general idea of what level of membership that you have and how it's used. When we started TSANet, the big benefit of joining into the organization and being part of the alliance was that you joined into an ecosystem of a bunch of different companies. So you didn't have to go out and do those separate one-offs. Hey, I'm part of TSANet, and so I can join into TSANet. Now I've got a relationship with 100-something companies all at once. And that still is the core of TSANet today. It's morphed into what we call now open group membership, which is basically an ecosystem of companies that have got together that said, under this criteria, I will obligate myself to work and engage with you. It's morphed into now what we call the premium TSANet and the basic TSANet. Premium TSANet essentially is just a subset of the basic TSANet and a group of members that got together that said, we will take this to a higher level. We'll do this on a 24/7 basis. We'll do it on a global scale, and we'll have higher level SLAs. So we'll agree as a baseline to be able to work with you essentially in the enterprise type environment with those kind of SLAs. Now, when you get all these companies together, you're going to have both your partners in there as well as your competitors. So you have to set some kind of guidelines and parameters around what the obligation is. And so that's what we've done within the basic and the premium TSANet. What we're saying is that there must be a mutual customer involved before there's any obligation for you to work with another member company. So the fact that your competitors may be in the same ecosystem that you're in, like the basic TSANet, that may be the only way that you can work as long as there's a mutual customer. And when we say mutual customer, we're talking about an entitled mutual customer that has a support contract. So one of the questions I get is, oh, I'm going to be giving away free support. You're not. You're going to get this phone call one way or another, right? The difference is through TSANet, you're getting it from another member company that your customer called first. So it's important to understand, especially if you're a premium TSANet member, that you may, because this is all based around entitlement, if that customer isn't entitled for 24/7 support, then you might be using the basic TSANet to engage and collaborate with that other member company. Because basic is part of premium, again, premium is a subset of basic. At the premium level, if that customer is entitled to 24/7 support, then you want to engage them through the premium TSANet relationship, because that's going to give you those higher level SLAs and all that kind of stuff. But again, if that customer is not entitled to that level of support, but they are entitled to support, then you could use the basic TSANet as well. Okay, so that's kind of the open group concept. There is no restriction to outbound callers. Again, the difference between premium and basic is kind of listed out here. And the mutual customer thing is obviously very, very important here. The members came back to us several years ago and said, you know, the open group relationship model solves 90%, 95% of my relationship needs. But sometimes what I need is something more strategic. And I would like to use TSANet to do it because it gives me one place to go where I can see how I need to engage, and where my partners can go and see how they need to engage me. One place to go where I can update all that stuff. You'll see the database and how that works. So what we did was we went back and we developed this concept of custom groups, which basically allows you to set up any kind of relationship that you need and use the TSANet structure, use that legal structure and use the operational framework. And it's kind of morphed itself into these three different categories of custom groups. It could be just a simple one-to-one relationship that you have that's very strategic. And again, you can go in and define what the terms of this relationship are. So where in the open group you had that mutual customer requirement, you may not have that in a custom group. right? But it could be a one-to-one relationship. If it's a solution support type of scenario that you're putting out, you've got this solution where you've got several vendors that are involved in that solution, or you may even pull in some channel partners that are involved in that. It may be a many-to-many group, but it's hosted typically by a member company, and they pick and choose not only the elements of the relationship, but they pick and choose who's part of that relationship. So it becomes kind of a custom group that only those companies see. And we'll give you some examples of this when we get into the member web. The other thing that we've done, and this is really beginning to take off with a lot of companies, is for you to run your partner programs under them. Now, not the entire partner program, but when it comes to support collaboration with your partners, a lot of companies want to have that mechanism in place. So what we've done is we've developed a area where you can pull your partners in, and from your perspective, it's a one-to-many relationship. So you see all of your partners. We've developed a microsite behind it and that kind of stuff. But from your partner's perspective, it's a simple one-to-one relationship with you. Made it also very, very easy for those partners to join TSANet and join into your relationship. We've actually established landing pages for partners, and we'll co-brand it with you. You can even host the relationship as well as pay for their membership at a very reduced rate. And it's a really easy way for you to establish that collaboration mechanism with your partners. They come into it very easy, very low cost, or in some cases, even no cost to them. So let me go in and show you the tactical view of this. I've only got one more slide that I'll come back to here. And I've logged in here as Dell EMC. So one way or another, and there are group logins, there's different ways for members to get into the member web. If you've got questions about that, let me know, and I can point you to who your TSANet manager is within your company. But essentially, you're going to get into tsanet.org and you're going to log in. And it'll take you to this member directory. And within the member directory, what you can see here is you can see all the members of TSANet, and then you can filter this by the ones that you have relationships with. So the ones that are grayed out here, I want to touch on this just so you're aware of this. You don't have a relationship with them. That's typically going to mean that they're part of another custom group that you're not a part of. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with them. So if they're grayed out, all that means is they're a member of TSANet. That makes it very easy for me to pull them into a relationship with you. And if you click on them, what it basically will do is come up here and say, sorry, they're a member of TSANet, but they don't have a relationship with you, and invite them. That will send an email to me, and then I can go ahead and contact them and say, hey, this company wants to have a relationship with you, and this is the path for you to do it. So a really easy way to do it. I'm going to do here is filter this out by the ones that I do have relationships with. So all of these companies I've got a relationship with either through an open group or through a custom group. And I'm going to go ahead and pick one here. We'll pick Amazon Web Services. What it's going to do in this case, it's going to take me to a contact page. Now, if this was a company that I had different relationships with, it's going to take me to a directory tree that will show me those different relationships, and then I can pick and choose those. But eventually you're going to end up here, which is, in this case, a basic TSANet. So it tells me what relationship that I'm in. And then this is a contact document. And you notice that it's kind of broken out into three different areas. It's broken out into before you call. So in this case, in the basic TSANet, I need to have that mutual customer involved. So now what they're saying is, this is the information I need you to have before you engage me. And then in this case, they're actually just giving out a simple email address, and then you're going to have an escalation path down here at the bottom of it. And there's also a document feedback section. But each one of these contact documents is going to be different based on, one, the relationship that it's involved with, and two, how do they want to be engaged. So I can give you another example. This is actually a custom group that's hosted by Dell EMC. And if I come in here, I can go to a microsite where I can post training information, I can post knowledge information. But when it comes to collaboration, then here's all my partners that are part of this particular program that I have invited to come into my custom group. So from my perspective, again, I'm looking at this as a one-to-many relationship, whereas if I logged in as a limited member in a one-to-one relationship, say I logged in as this company right here, which I won't do, I would only see Dell EMC. Okay, so I only have a one-to-one with them. So pretty easy once you understand what's going on here. That really basically is all I wanted to cover in this intro to TSANet. Again, I'm not going to get into a lot more detail about it. If you're interested in getting into seeing what you can do with custom groups and things like that, again, I invite you to come back and talk to me. Let me cover this. This last slide is just kind of a summary slide. And again, we'll make sure that these come out to you. So what I consider to be kind of the key takeaways of this whole thing is one, understand we are an organization. And as a member company, again, we're very member driven. We want you to tell us what we can do to help you. Understand your level of relationship, right? If you go into tsanet.org, you can click on members. It'll give you every member company and tell you what level of membership they have within the group. Understand that in custom groups, the whole engagement process can be different and the whole relationship process can be different. Don't push TSANet into a stereotype of, I always have to have a mutual customer, because if it's a custom group, that may not be the case, right? And if you have questions about a custom group that you're a part of, you can either contact me and I can put you in touch with whoever set that custom group within your company. The whole point of this is to raise customer satisfaction, right? The idea and the concept here is, instead of finger pointing that customer, which they hate to get that, right, is that you can come in and say, hey, I can work with this other company. You don't need to start all over again, but I may need to get a little bit of information from you, but let me work with them on your behalf. And that's the whole point of this, right? Escalate calls, that's at the bottom of that contact document. If for whatever reason it doesn't work, then you've got an escalation path down there. And if that doesn't work, you've got an escalation path to TSANet as well. Our job is to make sure that these companies are being compliant with the relationships that they've signed up for, okay? So if they got problems, if you got problems, you need to let me know. There's a lot of stuff out on the TSANet website about case exchange, about custom groups. If you want to just do some research about it, I invite you to go out there and take a look at that. So that's really all I have for you today. I'll see if there's any questions. And Stephanie, if you're on, you can see if we've got any questions. Usually see if we have anything. And I do have something.
I've got a question here, Dennis, which is asking how long would it take to set up a custom group with another company?
You know, and it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I can do it actually within hours, right? Because we've got the templates for the addendum and what those relationship elements are. As far as setting up the relationship on the legal side and then setting it up on the operational side, really a very, very short term that I can do that. But I need to understand what you're trying to accomplish so that we can set it up correctly and then pull those companies in. We kind of act as an account manager in certain areas for our members if they're pulling in a lot of member companies. And then it looks like there's another one here. Stephanie says, will there be a recorded version of this? Yes, there will be, and we're recording it now. And Stephanie will get that out to you. Okay. And Stephanie, I don't see anything else.
No, I don't see anything else at the moment, Dennis.
All right. So thank you very much for joining. These are always really well attended, and we appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day to be part of this. And it looks like we can give you back a few minutes of this half hour. And thank you very much again. Bye-bye.